Hello there, thanks for watching video 10 of Palo Alto video training series. In this video, we're going to talk about decrypting SSL traffic. Why should we decrypt the traffic and how it works on Palo Alto Firewalls. One of the basic problems that we have with encrypted traffic is obviously it is not understandable. So if whether it is healthy traffic or unhealthy traffic, it's not recognizable for firewall. And the reason for that is any sort of encryption will happen between client and the server, in source and destination, and whatever device between, just like firewall, they wouldn't understand encrypted traffic. Only source and destination will be able to decrypt that traffic. To be able to overcome this problem and analyze the SSL or encrypted traffic, we'll have to look into decrypting the traffic on our firewall or on edge of our network. And just to give you a quick view of how it's going to work, basically, as I said, any sort of encryption will happen between client and the server directly. So when you try to connect or browse to companies like Google or Yahoo or Microsoft, the encryption will be done between your client machine, your client PC, and the Microsoft server. And your firewall is just a device between, and will see the encrypted traffic and pass it on. So it won't be able to analyze the traffic, won't be able to check the antivirus signature, won't be able to do anything in terms of IPS, IDS, and things like that. So to be able to overcome this, we'll have to set this firewall in a way so we can decrypt the traffic. So there will be an encryption on the client side, there will be an encryption on the server side, but our firewall will handle that encryption in the middle. And the way that it works is whenever your client tries to access a server, which is on SSL, firewall will respond with its own certificate rather than server certificate with its own certificate, and initiate another connection to that server again. So there will be a connection between firewall to that server and firewall to the clients. Firewall will act as a kind of proxy between, and it will see the traffic and it will do the encryption on this end and the encryption on the other end. So that's basically what we're trying to do today. So let's get started. So first thing first, we just log into our Palo Alto Firewall. There are a couple of simple steps to make sure decryption works properly on the firewall. So first thing we have to do, we have to make sure that we have a certificate available for firewall to use that certificate basically for the internal connectivity. So that certificate will be passed on to the client instead of the server certificate. So let's just make sure we have a certificate. We go to Device tab, Certificate Management, Certificates. As you can see, there is no certificate by default. So we have two options. We can import a certificate. So if you're using an enterprise CA or you're using a standalone CA within your environment, you could just generate a certificate on your Active Directory server or whatever certificate authority you're using, and import that certificate in here, which is a better way when you're working in a corporate environment, because that certificate will be trusted by the computers that are part of the domain. For our particular example, because we don't really have a certificate authority, we just generate a self-signed certificate. So that's how we do it. We just create a certificate. We call it Decrypt Cert. and just add some description in there. We just click it as certificate authority because we want the server to act as a certificate authority itself. We are not creating a certificate request. Okay, we could do that. We could create a certificate request and send it to another authority, but we're just doing it here. We could add a couple of attributes in there, which usually is required for certificate, like what is the country, what is the department, and those kind of things. So we could add those kind of things as well and generate the certificate. And you can see I just generated a certificate, which is available as a self-signed certificate. Next step that you have to do is make sure that this certificate is available to be used as the decryption certificate and forward certificate. So you just, once it's created, you just need to click on it again, and you can see there is an option for forward trust certificate, forward untrust certificate. Choose those ones. So this is required for decryption profiles. So just click on OK. So we got our certificate ready. We got our usage. Next step we're gonna do, we're gonna go to our objects tab and get the decryption profile in there. Basically, decryption profile is also required to set up the decryption policy. There is a default profile that you could use, but you could always add another profile as well. And basically specify some security settings and requirements in the profile. So we just create decryption profile, and we could do things like log sessions with expired certificate, untrusted, and things like that. Log sessions if resource is not available, and we could play around with it as much as you want. You could just change the settings. You could add some security, specific requirements, security requirements, and encryption requirements to it as well. And basically set up your own profile for SSL, and as you can see, SSH, so you can do the decryption on SSH as well. Just click on OK. So we got the profile created. We got the certificate generated. Next step is go to policies, and we got a decryption tab in there on the left. So what basically we need to do is define and create a decryption policy. So we're going to do that now. Just click on add, and call it all decrypt. Anything from inside zone to outside zone. Again, you have the flexibility to just narrow it down to a specific subnet or specific IP addresses or a specific user if you want to. Service URL, just going to do it for HTTPS at the moment. And options, so by default it's no decryption. So you're going to choose decrypt SSL forward proxy, and we use our decryption profile and click on OK. So we've done all these, and then the next step is to commit the change. But before I do that, I'm just going to go to my Windows XP machine and log in. So what we are going to do, we're going to do a quick test and try to connect to a website like Google or Gmail. And you can see there is a certificate, and the certificate is issued to accounts.google.com, issued by Google Internet Authority G2. Now we're going to go back and we had our decryption profile enabled. Now you're going to go back and commit the changes that we've done. Commit it. And once the change is applied, basically we should have our decryption profile working. Now we're going to give it another try. There. Close and open it again and try Gmail again. You can see that it's coming up with an error and saying that the certificate is not valid. The reason for that is actually seeing our self-signed certificate. It's not seeing the Gmail certificate. So if you click on certificate information, you can see the certificate is coming from Palo Alto, not from Google. So what we need to do, we need to, as you can see, I can't ignore and proceed because Google is using HSTS, which is a security feature. They're not letting you to use insecure methods of accessing their website. So we'll have to go and get the certificate installed. So I just go to the certificate and just copy it to a file. We just call this with the desktop v1 and go to the top certificate, the root certificate as well. Copy that to the file. And at P2. So what I'm trying to do, I'm just trying to make this certificate a trusted certificate on this machine so I can proceed with the Google website. Otherwise it's not going to work. The reason for this is I'm using a self-signed certificate, generated certificate. If you use basically a valid certificate which is available on domain and the computer trusts that certificate, you won't get this and you will proceed with that. So I'm going to get the certificates installed. So I just go back to settings, advanced settings, certificate, trusted and root certificate. Just V1 and V2. And just give it another try. And sure enough, you can see that now we can proceed and browse Google. Just check the certificate again. You see this is the Palo Alto certificate. And basically the decryption is happening on our firewall now. So another important thing is usually in your network you don't want to decrypt the important critical information like personal information, credit card information, things like that. So we can always create a profile for bypassing decryption before actually you start decrypting the traffic. So we can just say no decrypt. From zone inside to zone outside. And we can say what URL category. We could say financial, for example. We could say shopping, say health. Just the important categories that you can think of that they shouldn't be decrypted. Go to options and make sure that no decrypt is selected. Click on OK. So now we have this. We have to move it to the top. further, commit the change. And once it's committed, our server should not decrypt the traffic, or our firewall should not decrypt the traffic for these categories and decrypt the traffic for the rest of the categories. Just give it another try. We just like PayPal, for example, and you can see the certificate in there is the actual semantic certificate for PayPal. It's not a Palo Alto certificate anymore, while your Google one is the Palo Alto one. So it's always required to understand when and how you should decrypt the traffic. Decrypting the traffic could be a bit challenging and could be a bit risky if basically you don't follow the rules. So that's pretty much all you're going to do to decrypt the traffic. You need to create your exceptions and then start decrypting the traffic. We use the self-signed certificate, but then again, if you're working in an enterprise company, usually there is a certificate authority within the environment that you could use. That certificate authority, usually a Windows authority in a Windows domain, that you could use it and import the certificate in here and use that certificate. That makes it much easier, and you don't need to do a lot of those processes that I showed you to install the certificate manually in the machine. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll be with you on the next video. Thanks.